WWDC 21 has officially come to an end yesterday, as Friday was the last day. So, at this event, we saw a whole bunch of new software releases. There were no hardware releases like the rumors said, but I mean, with what we got from the future of iOS, macOS, Apple watchOS, and tvOS, and iPadOS, and everything else that they did, I gotta give them props, because these are some great upgrades that they've done. So let's start off with iOS 15. So iOS 15 brings a whole bunch of new FaceTime features, which I'm actually pretty stoked about, because I don't know about you, but have there been a time when you're on FaceTime, whether it's on your Mac or your iPhone, and you're like, hey, like, look at this thing, and it's like, oh, well, no, you have to go and send it to them, wait for them to open it, wait for them to reply, and then do all that. Well, now, FaceTime is going to have SharePlay. So SharePlay allows you to share your screen, your music, and watch TV shows at the same time. So kind of like what Netflix Share Party does, or is it Netflix Watch Party, I believe it's called. It does it like that. Listen to music, so I can be playing a song on my iPhone while on FaceTime with a friend of mine, and they can add music right to the queue and be like, hey, check out this song, and it'll show up right there. So you guys have a shared queue together. Now, I'm assuming you both have to have Apple Music, and this will also be brought to other apps later on as time goes on. Now, there's also spatial audio on FaceTime calls. So with spatial audio on FaceTime calls, it'll sound like the people are more like around you, kind of like a realistic conversation, instead of the sitting there like this with your phone in front of you and kind of like being screamed at by the multiple people on the group FaceTime. And while speaking about group FaceTime, there is a new grid view. So instead of having everyone floating around your screen, not knowing where this one's coming from or that one's coming to, there's a new grid view which illuminates the person talking. And there's also new mic modes. So you can have standard, voice isolation, or wide spectrum. So standard is the normal one, how it is everywhere. While voice isolation will take your voice, and that'll be the only thing the person on the other end will hear. And Apple did demonstrate this with a leaf blower in the background, and you didn't hear the leaf blower at all. You just heard the person talking, which I thought was so cool. And then wide spectrum is everything around you kind of amplified. And now there's also FaceTime links. So this allows you to communicate with anyone. Now, and when I say anyone, I truly mean anyone who, whether they have an Android phone, a Windows computer, or an iPhone, an iPad, or any Apple device, obviously. So you can text them a web link, and it'll schedule it, kind of like a Zoom call does. And you can also FaceTime with literally anyone now, whether they're on Android, or Windows, or Mac, or iPhone, or iOS, or iPadOS, whatever it is. So then there is now also a new Shared With You feature. So if someone sends you a bunch of photos, they'll show up right in your photos under Shared For You. Same thing with Safari, News, Music, Podcasts, Apple TV. And it's so cool because you can pin stuff so you'll be able to find them later on. And it's built into all of these apps. So there will be a section saying like, hey, someone shared you all these photos. Do you want them? And now there's also major improvements to Do Not Disturb. Or as I should say now, Focus. So Focus essentially is Do Not Disturb on steroids. I like to think of it as you can set up specific, you have full control over it. So Do Not Disturb now is great, except for the fact that it doesn't tell people you're on Do Not Disturb. So like there's a chance you miss an important message or something like that. So with Focus, you are now able to choose what notifications you want, whether it's from coworkers only or family members only or etc. So you can pick the mode, you could put it in the mode you want. And you can also make your own. So if you're driving and you only want notifications from your family, you can set that up. Or if you're working out, you can set it up that no notifications will come to you unless they obviously reply back to the status that, hey, this is an urgent message, and then it'll be sent through obviously right away for you to see. So you can also signal your status, as I was saying before. So the other person on the other end will get there will be a little moon that says, use silent notifications with Focus. And they'll be able to tell them saying like, hey, I'm not accepting notifications right now, I'll see this later on. Just so they're aware and not waiting on the response. And if they need to, they can like press, this is an important message, and it'll alert you and you'll be able to see it. So now they're also redesigned notifications, which when they showed us this, it was about time. I felt like we got these because of, well, they're honestly a mess now. Like, this is a mess. and these are just from today. And they make them a lot smaller and just more compact, so they take up less space. And there's also a summary, so you can set up throughout specific times to get basically a summary of all the notifications you missed. There are also new maps, totally brand new maps, and honestly they spent, I think, a lot of time on this because of something coming in the future, I feel like, because the maps now, it's so detailed to the point where it's so cool. And there's also augmented reality walking instructions. So if you don't know where you are, you can scan the surroundings with your iPhone and it'll literally direct you using your iPhone and you'll see where you have to go, which is so cool. And now Safari takes the new design of macOS Monterey. So the new update of macOS, which we'll talk about a little later, is Monterey. So Safari is totally redesigned to be more compact and just more user-friendly, I feel like, because right now Safari on my iPhone running iOS 14 is behind my Mac running Big Sur using Safari. Now there's also going to be ID cards coming to Wallet, and when Apple showed this, I said that this is phenomenal, this is great, because like there is no reason really to carry a wallet anymore, as everything is in your iPhone, and if you have car key in your car, you only need your iPhone or your Apple Watch. So you'll be able to do that with just in the way we're going, you're going to be able to use just your iPhone. Now there's also live text and photos, Google Photos has this now, I believe it's called Google Lens, where it allows you to scan a picture and it'll take text, and you can copy and paste text from it. So honestly, that's great. I can't tell you the amount of times I've been like, I need to take, like, it'd be so much easier to, like, scan this and take the text and just paste it, but instead I'll have to, like, write it or type it out. So that, it's pretty cool. And there is so much more about iOS. I just don't want to spend all of this time talking about it, but I do want to mention the weather app. So the weather app got a brand new redesign, and it takes basically dark sky and puts the current iPhone weather app on steroids as well, because it is so much better. Because the weather app now is okay, it's okay, but it's so much better now. As you have a radar, you have all of these things now where you didn't have before. Okay, so iPadOS. iPadOS has basically all of the features that iOS 15 has. So Apple still did keep them separate. They really only added a few things to iPadOS. But then again, I also don't want to bore you with all of them because most of them are the same. So there's a new multitask menu, kind of stealing it from macOS. So you can mix and match. There's also the app library on iPadOS, which I thought is about time because I find it really bizarre that like they just didn't add it on iPadOS 14. And you can also now place widgets wherever you want, so they're not stuck into the Today view on the side. But the one thing I am hoping is that they didn't get rid of the Today view on the side because I love how simple it is and just organized it is that way. But we'll have to wait and see. And then obviously you have all of your FaceTime improvements and you have all of these other improvements that you get with iOS 15. And now we have universal control, which honestly this is like the biggest thing, and like when Apple showed this, I full on just like jumped out of the chair and was so excited. And I'm obviously playing this down because I was just so excited that you'd be like, why are you getting excited over an iPhone feature? But universal control allows you basically to control, if you're doing something on your Mac, you can just move your mouse over to the side if you're running macOS Monterey, and it will go right over to your iPad. Same with the keyboard, and it'll just move itself, so you don't have to pair, unpair, repair, or if you're typing something on your Mac and then you need to get something off your iPad, you need to open up your iPad, press airdrop it over to your Mac, and it's just so much, where now you can literally just drag and drop from your iPad to your Mac, and from your Mac to your iPad, and it's so cool. And now obviously all of this does have the privacy features in mind that Apple has done such a great job at. So now they let you see app privacy report, which is similar to that of Safari, along with mail privacy protection, and offline Siri, because Siri never leaves your device. It goes into the secure encrypted device, and iCloud Plus also does bring some great privacy improvements, such as Private Relay, Hide My Email, and Expanded HomeKit Secure Video. So Private Relay is basically a built-in VPN, and now you do have to pay for this. We don't know how much it is. Hide My Email allows you to make your own email, basically like some random email like jumpingguy25@icloud.com, and then everything would be forwarded to that, so you don't have to give them your actual email. And now, watchOS 8. So there are 2 new watch faces that have been, one has been given to us by Apple, which is the new Portraits watch face, and the other is the World Timer, which is basically the Chronograph Pro watch face with the world globe inside of it, which is pretty cool. So we get major photo improvements to the Apple Watch with watchOS 8. As I said, the portrait mode photo, as it kind of makes the 3D, it makes this 3D effect with your photos and people, and you can put the time behind them and in front of them, and it's pretty cool. And now there's also new memories that are served daily with a grid view style, so you can see everything. And you can also share photos using messages and mail instead of like not being able to use anything. And then you have the wallet, which has everything that your iPhone has, everything that it gains with iOS 15, your watch gains with watchOS 8. So you'll have the new car keys, the new car keys are actually pretty cool, and I'm a big fan of them. They're probably going to be exclusive to new cars coming out, but hey, it's pretty cool to use the ultra wideband. As you get near it, it'll be like, hey, it's Ian, beep beep. And then you can have your license in your wallet. And then now you can finally fix typos using dictation on your Apple Watch if you just scroll with your digital crown, which honestly, don't know why we haven't had this, because I can't tell you the amount of times I'll be like texting someone and I'll be like, hey, blah, 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 blah. And then my phone or my watch is just like, you didn't say any of that. You said total gibberish. And it's just like, oh well. There's also now you can send GIFs and use stickers from your Apple Watch, which I thought was pretty cool. And you also get focus on this. So if you turn on focus on your iPhone, it will turn it on your Mac, your iPad, your Apple Watch, and basically every Apple device you have, and obviously notify the people. And now the Breathe app is now renamed to the Mindfulness app, I believe. Yes, the Mindfulness app. So you get these new fancy animations to enter breathe for the breathing, and as well as the reflect session, which kind of like lets you take a step back and think about your day, which is pretty cool. And then sleep, it now will collect more data such as your respiratory rate if you have, I believe, the watchOS 7. And now this also might be setting us up for blood glucose tracking, as Apple did do major improvements with that on the health app. So we'll have to see. And now there are new workouts such as Pilates and Tai Chi, as long as new Fitness Plus workouts. As you could use Find Items or the new Find My app straight from your Apple Watch. And as well as set multiple timers, there's a new Contacts app, and you'll finally get alerts saying like, hey, there's rain coming, which is the brought over dark sky. Okay, now macOS Monterey. So macOS Monterey does honestly share most of the features that iPad and iOS does with the FaceTime and the new messages and the For You tab. So kind of Apple brought one feature to all of your devices, which is so cool. So SharePlay, you can do share your screen, messages, or you can really share anything you want. I don't believe it's limited, because if you're sharing your screen, you could show whatever. So I wonder if there is like a private thing, and then you can listen together, as I said before, so someone will be able to start playing this song right on your devices, and you'll both be able to hear it simultaneously. You should share your screen, which honestly, they just need to make that better, because I tried it today and literally it didn't work, and I was like, just go on Zoom and we'll just screen share through Zoom. There's also spatial audio, although I believe this is exclusive to some of the newer Macs. The new grid view and portrait mode on FaceTime, which will allow you to blur your background, similar to that of conference calling apps. There's a new Safari design, which personally, I don't know what my thoughts are on it, really. It looks okay, but I have to see it in person first and use it, as there are now tab groups, which are synced across all of your devices. So there's also Focus, which is brought over from your devices, as I said before. There's also Quick Notes, which again, you just drag from the corner of your iPad, and you can do, or on your Mac, and you could quickly create a note, and you can link it to an article, and yeah. And now the Notes app did get some major redesigns with an activity view and also tags, so you can see who edited what and everything, which is pretty cool. And then universal control, as I mentioned before, obviously is brought over. And you don't have to set anything up. You just move your mouse to the side of your computer, and it'll just go straight over to your iPad with a fancy animation. Ooh, AirPlay to Mac. I do not want to forget about this, because this was so cool. And I honestly can't believe it took them so long to add this, but AirPlay to Mac allows you to use your iPhone and AirPlay a song to your Mac, which I can't believe we haven't had before, because there have been times where I'll connect my Mac to a TV somewhere in my house to play an Apple TV Plus show or something, and I have to, it's like, oh, can you pause, can you rewind it? And I'm like, I have to sit there, like, by the computer, like, pausing it and rewinding it. Whereas now I can literally just control it right from my iPhone lock screen. And then we also get live text and shortcuts on Mac, although I have not used shortcuts ever. Really, I've never even set any up. I probably should, but I also don't care to. And there's the new map with all the new features, and there are obviously now the privacy features that I mentioned before, and now the Mac does gain the indicators that your iPhone has, so you'll know that, like, your camera's being used, or your, well, I guess it's just your microphone, because there is the green dot that your camera is in use already. And you also get iCloud Plus, which you get on all your Apple devices, and it also gets low power mode on the Mac, which I thought was great, because I can't tell you the amount of times I'm like, I need to save battery right now, but my computer is running all of these RAM intensive things, and now my battery is dead. And that's really the whole gist of what we've got, and well, I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.